This was the final test conducted on TripStop 75mm at RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia. Called the overload test, it was designed to test TripStop to its limits, to see exactly what happened when TripStop was pushed past its recommended limits, both in terms of height levels and weight levels. As you can see here, even once TripStop is pushed far past the recommended height level, the displacement remains at a minimum. The weight test consisted of placing weights on one slab and then jacking up the adjacent slab. More than 1,000 kilos was used in this test to thoroughly demonstrate TripStop's weight handling ability. By adding this much weight, a large amount of pressure is placed directly on the TripStop joint, thoroughly testing its structural integrity. Even with this large amount of weight bearing down on it, TripStop performed exactly the same. There was no cracking of the concrete at the main loading point or anywhere, and the TripStop joint remained completely undamaged. Multiple tests were performed with additional weight to ensure TripStop's weight-bearing abilities. We now took the measure of impacting the TripStop at the loading point to break the concrete and to examine the results. As expected, the concrete did not break at the TripStop joint, and even when the slab did collapse, there was still a minimal tripping hazard in comparison to slabs without TripStop installed. One of the key benefits that this test did show was that even when the slab is broken, it broke up to the TripStop joint, not along it, under it or over it, thereby retaining all the joint strength. This can clearly be seen once the undamaged TripStop is removed.